Thank you guys. Thank you for having us today. We're really excited to be speaking with everyone here at Washburn. It's really, a great opportunity for us, and we think that this could also be a great opportunity for you guys as well. So we're happy to be sharing it. So first, I want to introduce Johan, who is a director of our program. And then also, I'm not sure if she's on yet, but we actually have an alumni who is supposed to be joining us, who will be able to give a little bit more about her experience in Gastronomie France and how she liked living and working in France. So let's hope she'll be able to join us.
She's on.
She's here? She's on?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so Patrina, she's also here. And she'll be the one talking to you guys a little bit about what her experience was like living in France and working in a culinary restaurant in France. So I'd like to give the floor to Johan to explain a little bit more about Gastronomie France. And yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Johan. Everybody can listen to me very clearly. Everything good? Yes? If not, it's maybe because of my accent, so sorry about that. Okay, so I'm the director of Gastronomie France. Gastronomie France has 5 years experience. So we send around 100 candidates to do internships and work experience in France. So why our program is doing well? Why? Because we negotiate with the establishment, hotels and restaurants in France. We negotiate the accommodation, the food included, and gratification, financial gratification, monthly gratification, 600 euros. So Gastronomie France is association that has a certification from the French government. We have a couple of several partnerships with universities. We also have partnerships with hotels and restaurants, around 70, 80 partnerships with restaurants that have, say, stars restaurant, and also hotel that all of our hotel have a good, we can say, standards, like a good quality hotel and restaurants. So I think that's it for the moment. So hopefully you will like our program and you will be able to apply to be able to do an experience in France. Can be from 2 months to 6 months. So I will now give the word to Audrey.
All right, guys. So if Patrina's on, maybe Patrina wants to introduce herself a little bit and just to give us a little bit about who she is. Patrina, if you'd like to speak.
Hi, I'm here. This is my first Zoom, so I hope it's working, but I see everyone else. So yeah, my name is Patrina, and I normally live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am an alumni of the Gastronomie France program. A really happy alumni with the Gastronomie France program.
Great.
Did you want me to talk about my experience now, or did you want to?
Let's do that. First, we'll talk about I'll give you guys a quick presentation, and then after the presentation, you can go more into your experience and how you like France and working at the restaurant. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Hopefully you guys will be able to see it and everything goes well. One moment. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so let's start our presentation here. Okay. All right, so Gastronomie France. This is Sorry, that's our video that we are going to show you guys maybe later. But I think right now, let's just get into the presentation. So this is a little bit about what our organization is about, and basically everything you need to know. So Jan actually already went into this a little bit. So our organization was actually founded in 2015, and it's certified by the Minister of Interiors in France. But we have about 50 to 60 students and graduates that are living in France, and we're continuing to grow. We also have alliances with over 20 universities. So a lot of the universities like to send their students to do internships and also postgraduate work with our program. Okay, so this would what we would be normally asking you when we'd have an interview with you. So why do you want to travel to France? Basically, we want to see, if you're into learning about new cultures, how well you would be able to assimilate to a French kitchen. And then also about French. I know maybe many of you probably don't speak French, but that's also okay. We offer French classes. We recommend some French classes that you could take before the program. And so if your level is very basic, that's okay, because a lot of times when you're working in a kitchen in France, especially, there's going to be a lot of, foreigners working there as well. So if you speak English, pretty good English, you should be able to, work your way around. And then we already know that you guys study at Washburn, so it wouldn't be something that we're asking in the interview. But I know that a lot of you are in different programs in Washburn, so maybe hospitality, pastry, culinary. We would just ask you a little bit about those questions, and then also about your work experience, just so we know, what type of kitchen we're going to be putting you into, what kind of restaurant, and it helps us to better match you into a place that would, fit you more. And then also a huge question we like to ask is, do you like to travel? It's not really a question of have you traveled before, especially out of the US. It's more, do you have, do you want to, you have that passion to, go and work somewhere else? Because it would be very important when you're in France to just have the drive and want to be able to do this experience. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next slide here. So this is what our program includes. We include housing, meals while you're working in the establishment, and also a salary. So the salary, actually, if you're a postgraduate, you would be getting a working salary, which is about 1,200 euros per month. That is the normal minimum wage salary in France. Now, if you're doing an internship, you'd be getting around 600 euros per month. And then the housing, it's included like in the hotel that you're staying. All right. So the next thing is things that are not included in our program, which are the airplane tickets, international insurance, visa costs, and French classes. So if you would like to take French classes before you go to France, those wouldn't be included in the cost, but of course, we will be sending you, recommendations. And we're also doing a couple webinars that can possibly help you with your French. So we're always there to help you if you need help during that process. And for the visa costs, it's not that we aren't going to help you with the visa. We'll definitely help you throughout that process because it can be quite difficult. I know, I actually studied in France, so it's kind of a mind-blowing situation, but visas can be a difficult thing, and we're there to help you.
One thing about the visa, for an internship less than 3 months, there is no need of visa. Very important.
Yeah, and we'll get more into that when we look at our program costs. But as a US citizen, you actually can go into France on a tourist visa for 3 months, and that means you don't have to apply for a PVT or a work visa or a long stay visa. So this is kind of a map showing the regions of France. So we have establishments all over France, but a lot of them are in the more rural regions. So a lot of places that families would come for vacation. So the summer months are really big in France, but also the winter months as well. And it's kind of just all of our, alliances, they're with the hotels, they're spread out all over France. So it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to be only going to one hotel. Like it can vary. So these are actually pictures of some of the establishments that we work with. A lot of our restaurants, they actually have Michelin star ratings, if I'm correct. And these are just some pictures of them. You know, very French. Okay. Now, these are some requirements. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be within these requirements. If not, we can still like definitely try to work out something for you. So don't think of yourself like not considerable because you're not within any of these requirements. Like we can just definitely talk to you through that and try to figure out a solution. So the first one is that you study culinary arts or hospitality. The second is that you have a good level of French or are also motivated to learn French while you're in the program and a little bit before. And then also something really big is that you would probably need to start to apply 5 months before you actually go and travel abroad. This is for visa reasons and also so we can set you up with an establishment that best suits you. And then another thing is between the ages of 18 and 35. And so we're actually, that one, it's a little bit, we can, move the boundaries a little if you don't fit in that age group. And then obviously we recommend that you apply as soon as possible.
About the French level, really it's not compulsory, it's more about the attitude. If you have the attitude to, get some basic vocabulary and learning during your internship, learning French, that's the most important because English is very useful and everybody speaks English, so you can always communicate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that you have to learn it, but especially if you want to learn French, great way. Being immersed into something, you're going to learn it way faster than taking 6 years of French classes. Now, something else, this is our prices for the program. Now, we have different options. So we have the options for students who are going to be doing internships. And then, so we have actually the first option, trying to move my screen, sorry. So internships for 3 months that do not require a visa. So this would be something where we don't have to go through the visa process with you. This would be about 790 euros. I can always calculate this if you want into dollars. I think it's around 800 and I think $90, somewhere around there. Sorry, just doing it off the top of my head. And then internships for 6 months or 4 to 6 months that do not require a visa, our program fee would be $1,190. Now we get into the graduate level, which is longer term, and you'd also need a visa for this. So this is why the prices get more expensive because we're going to be going through the visa process.
One thing very important is at the moment, because of the consequences of the COVID in France, most of the establishments are more willing to get interns, more interns than graduates. So that's something important. If some of you are graduate, we have the option to make you study online, like 4 months, you can study, and then you can apply as an intern to do internship. And there is also the option of graduate option. So we can review this with your university. If you are a graduate and you want to do this experience in France from 3 to 6 months, you still have the option to get the, we can say, internship agreement from your university to apply as intern. So that's the important thing. And also about the special price, as they are part of the university, they have, you will have 10% discount as you are student from a university that is partnership with Gastronomie France.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so basically what Johan said is completely correct. Obviously, it is easier for an intern right now to find jobs, especially just because of COVID. The way that they're processing visas and things like that, it's just they're going to be going for students first. It's not doesn't mean that it's like not possible to do a graduate program, but it's just a lot easier to do the internship one. So these are our prices on the bottom here for graduates, and the reason that the prices are a little bit different is because a work visa is different than a PVT visa. So those just get a little bit more complicated. But if you're doing the internship, then it would basically be either the 790 or the 1,190. Okay. Sorry, just switch that. Okay, so now, of course, like we want to be as like we don't want just because you might have a problem paying with the complete price up front. We understand that. But we want to be able to give you the best option to complete your practice. So we have the first payment, which is when you pay in 3 different payments before the trip. Now, our second payment is that you would pay with 10 monthly installments. And then the third option is that you would pay 50% in 3 payments before the trip and 50% in 3 payments after or while you're on your trip. And this may be easier for you because, for example, you're going to be getting a salary in France. So if you'd like to, you know, obviously use that money to pay the rest of your you know, your payment to us, that is completely possible. Okay, I think we're almost done with our slides here. So this is just kind of let us know what you think about the program. We'll get into questions afterwards. When would you like to start the process? Do you have any questions? So we're gonna go into questions after Katrina speaks a little bit about her experience. And then I think this is the last one. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. And of course, if anything is, you know, we're going to be answering questions. So I get it if it was a lot to take in, but we're here to answer all of your questions.
Audrey, there is 2 elements more that I wanted to share with the community. It's the 2 months internship opportunity. If you can talk about this 2 months opportunity, that is a very good one. And the special benefits until the middle of 6 months, just to mention it because I think there are good benefits.
So the first thing that Johan was talking about is that we're currently doing the process of only a 2-month internship. And this internship is actually where the student would not need to pay for the internship. So if that's something you're interested, that's also an option that we have. And then the other thing Johan was talking about is our discounts for this month. So actually, if you were to apply before the 15th of July, and we're a little bit flexible on the date, you would get a 20% discount plus 10 free French classes or culinary classes. So those are the benefits if you were to apply before the 15th, which I know is quite short amount of time because we're at the 8th already, or, you know, we can kind of, we can make some exceptions. So those are, yeah, 2 really great opportunities that we're offering recently if you guys are interested in those as well. Okay, yeah.
The only thing that I would like to just be focus on is that for the 2 months program, the salary, it's not like compulsory, so the establishment will maybe not pay for the financial gratification for 2 months. That's the basically in France, for an internship less than 2 months, there is no obligation to pay. So just to mention it, and that's it. And yes, 10 classes, French classes, included with the 20% on the internship program. So for the intern that want to apply, they will have 20% discount on the program.
Okay, yeah. So great. Thank you guys for listening to that little presentation that we had. I'd like to give the floor to Patrina to tell us a little bit about her experience in France. Maybe, you know, what French techniques she learned, how she liked her experience, if she would recommend Gastronomie France. So I will let Patrina speak now.
Thanks, Audrey. There's so much to say. I'll try to keep it to the parts I think you want to hear. So how I discovered Gastronomie France was I was looking for a different experience, more than just like working on the line in a French restaurant and trying to learn that way, which you just get distracted with everything else. So I was looking for something that would like completely submerge me in an experience, and that's how I went online and started searching, and I found Gastronomie France that way. And honestly, at the beginning, it seemed like such a large thing that I almost was like almost discouraged. But once I started talking to everyone, I was completing just one step and then the next step. It just became more and more possible with each thing that I did. And then when it was time to get the visa, it was nothing for me. So I just think it was really comforting that they were always there to kind of help me along with that. And I chose the 3-month or the 3 installment payment, which broke it down. And when you do it that way, it doesn't seem as large. It's actually just really possible. And then, so I started that about 7 months before, so about October, I think. And then by April 26th, I was on a plane headed to Bordeaux. I was selected for La Citadelle, which is in a small town called Blaye, in Bordeaux, and Bordeaux is like known worldwide as like wine country, so that was good too. So it's just kind of nice to get both that experience and because obviously when it comes to pairing your food and things like that, it's nice to kind of get that little bit too. So once I got there, I didn't speak any French other than, well, I did speak some French, but it was very beginner, I would say, especially with the pronunciation of the words. But, you know, I knew the basic culinary terms, mise en place, bâtonnet, julienne. I could make my way around that far. And when I got there, actually, and like Audrey was saying, you'll find that a lot of people speak a little bit of English everywhere you go, but it's always nice to start within their language, and then they'll, you know, kind of help you along for that. So I was lucky enough that my manager of the La Citadelle and also my chef spoke enough English to where we could communicate. And as the time went on, I spoke enough French, so we were always on the same page when it comes to that, which is also very important in the kitchen, learning the French numbers, how they fire their tickets, how they call for orders and things like that. Knowing those things, like when they, you know, fire table 90, which would be tab 90, like you have to know those numbers just to kind of help you get along. And it's really fun. I mean, the skills I picked up were just vast. For example, for my experience, they took time and they put us in each station. So I was in pâtissière, I did a little baking and pastry, and then I did some garde-manger. I also moved to the grill, and they moved us around, so it wasn't 6 months of the same thing, which I really appreciated because I wanted that whole kitchen experience, not just one thing. So we were busy. We were in a very tourist area, so we were busy throughout the whole summer. We did a lot of weddings just because the area we were in, it's so beautiful that a lot of people come to the south of France just to do their weddings or anniversary or things like that. So not only did I got the experience of working on the line, but I also got the experience of doing different events like anniversaries, birthdays, and weddings. And I keep saying we because there was another student that was there with me. His name was can't remember now because I'm nervous. Diego, sorry. His name was Diego, and he was from Colombia, which is cool because he spoke Spanish, which I knew kitchen Spanish, just a little bit here and there. And he knew a lot of English, so we helped each other along that way. So that was another cool experience. So you do gain that friendship. And then I gained that La Citadel family because we just, I don't know, I was in the right place. So the owners were brother and sister, so it was just like a whole family feel, and the father worked, and everyone, it was just being submerged in a family, and it was really nice. They took care of me that way. Even the place where I stayed for the 6 months was owned by the family too, so it was just a really good experience to be paired with those guys. And then what else? So we worked our butts off for the whole tourist season. And then after that, we actually got a vacation, which I got, I think, like 10 days off right at the end, I think was September. And it's still hot, it's still summer there. And I was able to travel to Italy, Spain, and Amsterdam, just because those places are just, it's just like an hour and you're there. And the airfare was just really affordable. And because we were getting a stipend, which turns out to be a lot because I wasn't paying for room and board, and I was eating at the restaurant for almost all my meals. So I just used that as my vacation money. So it was like really cool to have that 10 days off and get to travel and get not just to see France, but to also see, you know, other countries that were kind of just around the same area. As far as skills go, it'd be something to demonstrate than to talk about. But like I said, I was able to gain more pâtissière skills. I learned a lot of French. I learned like just a lot of classic French food, like the pâté en croûte, or just how to make a really good pâte brisée, or just things like that. It's just a lot of foundational skills that I was looking for that I wasn't really getting just working on the line. So I was very appreciative of that. What else? Oh, and the people, of course, they're friendly, they're nice, and they were welcoming. Like I was just in a really good place, and I appreciate that from Gastronomie France, because at the very beginning there was another hotel that was another choice, and I was actually and it was a Michelin graded hotel, and it was a beautiful hotel, but it was not the problem, but it was like, I think, a town of 400 people. And coming from Las Vegas, for me, that just seemed like like such a culture shock. So I wasn't sure if I'd get another option. And, you know, like, I don't remember who I spoke to, but they were just like, just tell me what you want. And it was just kind of cool to know that they would pair me to something that would fit better. And so that's how I got to Bly. And the whole experience was beautiful. The people there, the language, the traveling, the skills, it was everything I was looking for. And not only that, when I came back, I actually left half my stuff in France because I was scheduled to go back this April, actually, but because of the pandemic and the COVID and everything that's going on, that's not possible right now. But I was even invited back for next year, so that's something I'm looking forward to do right now. So long story short, I'm really, really happy that I found this program. I'm happy that I went. I'm happy that I'm on the other side of it. I gained a lot of things that I don't think I would gain just by sitting in Vegas and doing the same thing, you know, repetitiously.
Excellent.
So great. Thank you so much, Patrina, for sharing that. I think that gives everyone, you know, a little bit of insight of what it's actually like to be working in France, and we really appreciate what you're saying. But yeah, so I think now we're going to open the floor to questions, and it can either be to me, Johan, or Patrina. And Marjorie, how do you want to go about the questions?
I don't know if everybody has the same capabilities on Zoom, so I don't know if everyone will be able to use the hand raising option. So we will try with this group of people. We're going to try to just go one by one. So everybody be a little bit patient, but we'll just try to have you unmute yourself to ask your question and then remute yourself after you've asked the question. And we'll just try to work it that way. Instead of going through the chat or going through hand raising, we'll try it like this for a little while and see if this works.
Great. All right, then we'll open the floor up to questions. Whoever would like to go can unmute themselves and ask away.
I have a question. Hi, this is Ray. I have a question about, let's see, last week, I know that the EU was supposed to come out with a statement saying whether or not they're opening up the borders to certain countries and which countries were not going to be included. And I missed the news broadcast or whatever, but I'm assuming the border is open to US citizens now because, you know, our COVID rate is higher than it is in Europe at this time. So I guess the question is the border open to US citizens at this point in time?
Yeah, so great question. Obviously, I think that's on everyone's mind. Currently, it is not open to US citizens. We're not on the list, but because you wouldn't be leaving until 2021, you know, at least 5 months, the borders should be reopened by then. And the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to start processing student visas.
Okay.
So basically, right now, what we're looking at is it really shouldn't be a problem just based on the time frame, especially with you guys. If you were to apply soon, it really shouldn't be a problem getting you guys to France, especially with the whole situation that's going on with COVID. Now, it would be definitely a different story if we were having you go right now, of course. But since it's about 5 months on from now, I think we should be pretty good. Johan probably has a little bit more to say about that.
Okay, yes. So basically to start the program, to travel to France, the best option would be from January 2021. At the moment, the French government is very responsible about, you know, all the protocol that they are implemented. So everything is going well. So we are positive. We are positive about the condition, and we think that from January it will be excellent to travel. And there is a lot of establishments that we are working with that are open all year long. So, and some of them are saisonnier, means that they only open for the summer or for the winter. But in this case, the starting date to travel would be March, April. So we know that it's gonna be all good.
Okay. Okay.
Akeisha, it looked like you had a question next.
I do. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Akeisha, obviously. My question is for the older group. Do you ever have anyone over or who extends the age of the requirement? So I know that it says 18 to 35, but I'm 41. And I wanted to know, is that something that would be open to me, or would you prefer just to stick in the age group? I think you said something about it, but I was cooking and I couldn't hear you.
Johan, would you like to answer that? I mean, I know that we definitely have a lot of people applying over the age of 35, and that's like really not much of a problem. Johan has more information than I do about it, but it's definitely not like these strict age limits that we have.
It's okay. So it's all about the interview. We will make an interview. We will evaluate your motivation, your flexibility. We know that people from 20 to 35, they are easy to be, you know, adapt themselves. So yeah, exactly. So it will be all about the interview, because basically, as we are doing a pre-selection about the establishment, we also do a pre-selection about the candidates. So yeah.
I have one more question, if I may ask.
Of course.
What about people who may have disabilities? How do you accommodate those who may have a health disability?
Johan, would you like to answer?
All right. So I think that's all about talking, having a conversation, exchange about that, and then take decisions. So we are flexible. We have establishments that are flexible, but we also need to first talk together to make sure that everything is clear. And yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Maybe some people, some students, some people have question about Petrina, about the experience.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Um, my question would actually be more in regards to the interview process, because an interview, obviously, to somebody who's going to be graduating is more like a job interview. Is that what this interview is going to be like, or is it more of a get a feel type of the person interview and make a judgment call at that point?
It's more of just seeing your work experience. It's kind of just us seeing how we would match you to what establishment. So basically getting a feel for your work experience, getting to know, it's like very basic things. It's definitely not as rigorous as a work interview. It's more of just us talking to you and seeing how we would match you to what establishment, and seeing like what skills you have, what skills the establishment may need, things more of that nature. And Johan, if you would like to add anything.
Okay, so basically we have a process. So the first interview, it's about the pre-selection interview to make sure that you have the profile, the ability, the capacity to have this experience. So we check this. Once you have been accepted, we will send you a contract. You will participate to the program, and we will ask you we will make your profile. So we will ask basically your resume, a video presentation. We will ask for pictures from the dishes that you have made, and then we will start communicating your profile to our partner organization or partner establishments in France. Once one of our partner establishment accepted to have an interview with you, we will get you ready. We will give you like a preparation, like a training, and then we will accompany yourself during the interview. It will be like a Zoom or like a WhatsApp video conference that you will have with the owner or the chef of the restaurant or the hotel. And once you have been accepted, we will get everything ready. We will help you to make basically the itinéraire, comment itinéraire?
Itinerary.
Yeah, exactly. So we will define everything for you, help you to have this ready. And then when you will be traveling to France, one person from the hotel or restaurant will pick you up from the airport to the site, to the hotel, and we will make a follow-up. So we will make sure that everything is fine. We will be in touch with you during your experience, and at the middle of your internship, we will do like an interview, mid-internship interview with your tutor from the restaurant, with your tutor from your university, the establishment, and ourselves. So we will make sure that everything is fine. And at the end of this experience, we will give you like a certification. about the experience that you had.
Johan, I had a question. Johan and Audrey had a question that came up in the chat. So current students are still available to do this, correct? They do not have to have graduated from the associate's program. They can be in the middle of our program at Washburn and step away from school for a semester to do this and then return. Is that correct?
Yeah, totally. Totally, they can do that. That's probably the best option if that's an internship. But we're open to both, obviously. But yeah, of course, you know, you can, as long as they have the contract, the internship contract, which is pretty easy to maneuver, then yeah, that's a great opportunity. Yes.
The internship agreement from basically it's just like authorization from the university to allow the student to do an internship. We have a document from the French government. We just need a signature, and that's it. It's very flexible.
Okay, and I know for, you know, for any students that are on this, and I don't think we have any that are in the hospitality program, unless I'm mistaken, and I'm sorry, but I think we've got baking and pastry and culinary. Our culinary program does require an internship component as part of the academic requirement. Our baking and pastry program does not, and I think that you and I, the three of us actually had talked about this. So the fact that we don't necessarily require an internship for our baking and pastry students does not mean that they couldn't take this opportunity with you, correct? They do not need to be receiving academic credit in order to do that?
Correct. As long as there's just like an agreement between the establishment and the university, then it's totally fine.
Great. We had a couple more raised hands. It looks like Latoria, you had your hand raised, and then Akisha will have you go after Latoria.
Matthew also.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So my question is, because I'm actually well, not necessarily a graduate. We still have like 3 weeks of classroom hours that we need to make up before we graduate, but basically will be considered a graduate student. So will I still be considered as an intern because I've already graduated by the time I would have applied and all of that? By 2020, I'll be a graduate student by then. So will I still be able to apply as an intern, or do I have to apply as a graduate?
All right. So that's something that we need to check with your university, but usually it's possible. Usually there is no issue. That's something intern about your university, but in case that there is any issue about this, we have also the opportunity to provide you like classes, online classes, 4 months, and then you will have the internship agreement. So that's not a big deal. There is always options.
Latoria, did you do your internship component for school?
Yes, because remember, I went to Disney and did the internship at Disney.
Yes, you use that as your internship. Okay, great. All right, so Akisha does not have a question. Any other questions from anyone? And also, if anybody had any questions for Katrina, I think she's still here.
Yeah, there were a few for Katrina and a few for Audrey and Johan. To start off with Katrina, can you tell us a little bit more about your room and board experience?
I think she should be on here.
Yeah, sorry. I found the button. Yeah, I can. So like I was saying, the house that we were staying is that as interns, it was used for interns, and the hotel owned the house. So we we shared the house as interns. I had my own room upstairs, and each floor of the house had a bathroom. So I shared a bathroom with one other person. So that's how that worked up there. And then downstairs um, we have a regular size kitchen space that you would find in a house. So we had a regular size fridge downstairs in the kitchen where we kind of all shared, but then I also had a small fridge I kept in my room just for my little snacks and stuff, so I wouldn't have to go all the way downstairs, personally. So, and then we had a backyard. We had like herbs and flowers planted out back, and I didn't have any transportation. You can get a European driver's license if that's something you're interested in, but I didn't had plans for any of that. So instead, Guillaume, which was my boss or the hotel manager, he had a bicycle that he let me borrow. So with the grocery store only being just maybe half a mile down the road, I would just ride the bicycle and go get my groceries, bring it back, and I was able to cook it home for the days that I had off. And other times I was able to, for lunch and dinner, whatever, I would eat at the is that what you were looking for?
Yes, I was just seeing whether it was more of an Airbnb experience rather than a hotel experience, which makes more sense. It seems like you were very much on your own doing groceries and stuff like that, but there was a place for you to come back to, which was nice of an answer. Thank you. My next question would be, was there any difference that you seen, Patrina, with employers when you mentioned this program? Was there anything that they questioned you about? Was there anything different as to before when you were doing interviews and then after with this whole experience?
Yes, actually. Part of the reason I wanted to go to France was because I knew that on speaking resume wise, it would separate me from a lot of other line cooks out there, and because I'm a culinary major, that that was important to me because it's Vegas and there's so many restaurants and we're all kind of working the same chain, so to speak. So I wanted something that was mine and that was separate from the person standing next to me. So I definitely think that was an improvement for my resume and my career. Not only that, I'm more confident in baking and pastry, which I wasn't before because I was just a little shy when it comes to like the doughs and things like that. And over there, it was just, here's the recipe, it's in French and it's in grams, go, And so when you go through a few months of that, not only is it in grams, which in the culinary or in the savory side, we don't really have to measure so much. And if we do, it's in ounces. It just gave me more confidence in that way. And then, you know what? I don't know if it's Vegas, but anytime I mention my experience, people get really excited to know about what I went through and what it was like and what I learned and things like that. So I'm more confident in my abilities, both sides, savory and sweet. I'm not as timid with a lot of things, especially having to learn a new language. So that's helped me that way. So both technique and resume and personally, I would say, yeah, I noticed a difference. And just when I got back, I was working at a French restaurant before, but it was more like a cafe. And then when I got back with my experience, they knew I was going to France. And when I got back with my experience, they actually put me on the fine dining side, which is another restaurant they had. So it definitely helped me to just get a little bit further. And actually they all the chefs at that restaurant, they were all French themselves. So we just had like a connection, like we had something in common now, which before they were kind of just like, oh, but now it was almost like a different level of respect they had for me in that sense, because they know what I've gone through and it's similar to their own experience. So yeah, I would say that definitely made a change for me for sure.
Thank you so much. Some more questions for Audrey and Johan. I had more questions about the PVT visa versus regular. And my second question for you guys would be, during the whole process, are you able to choose the time that you're going to be traveling over there? Or is it once you start the process, you know that this is where you're going to be ending up? Like in time-wise of traveling over to France?
Johan, do you want to answer those questions?
Okay, so so basically about the starting date, there is no, basically we will review this with the establishment, with the hotel and restaurant. We will take the decision. We always recommend to our students to apply like 5 to 6 months before, to have time to deal with all the process. And what was the first question? Sorry.
It was a question about the PVT visa versus the working visa.
All right. So there is a way. There is some country that have like working holidays visa. So from my knowledge, the US do not have this option. I will double check to make sure about this. But in case that you want to apply as a graduate, we will need to do with you the whole process about the visa, working visa. So that's something that we can review with you. We will accompany you, and there is no big issue about that. We recommend at the moment, if you want to apply from January 2021, we recommend apply as internship, as intern.
So it's more of a cohort time based on when you apply, or is it more, I don't know how to phrase it.
Are you kind of saying like, you know, if I apply at this time, can I choose when I want to travel, or is it like once I apply,
Exactly.
I'm like on
Yeah.
track? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
more,
Yeah, okay. So it's not totally like once you apply, you're gonna be there at this. We already have it all set up. No, it's like once you apply, you know, you can kind of choose when you want to travel, you know.
that was my question. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it looks like we have just a few more minutes left. Does anybody else have any questions? I also wanted to take this quick opportunity to let you guys know that Audrey and Johan have asked if I would share the names of the participants that are on the Zoom today and your email addresses. So if anyone wants to opt out of this, I would like for you to email me. You can let me know in a chat right now if you'd like privately. You can also email me, but I would like to send a list to them so that they can reach out and have your contact information. So by tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I'll send the list over. If I haven't heard from you, I will send your information. But again, you're welcome to opt out if you'd prefer not to have that information shared, but please let me know. Any other questions that you guys have?
I had a question.
Brianna, yes.
Hi. My question was basically like, what is the overall application process? And my second question is like, if, you know, God forbid anything was to happen, you know, life happens sometime, like, is there like refund or how does that go?
Johan, do you want to answer those? Okay.
No. I didn't. I couldn't.
You didn't hear it? Yeah, it was a little. So your first question was, okay, so one of the questions was if something happens, this could be concerning COVID or like a problem that just comes up, is there a possibility of a refund? And then the second application is the application process.
Okay, so I don't know how many minutes we have, because I think they will cut maybe the. So about the refund and all the conditions, we have a contract. We will send you the contract. you will read the contract, and if you have any question, we can review it. So that's my answer about the contract and different information. And what was the question about the process?
The application process, applying for the internship or work.
Okay, so I think I already answered this question before, or?
Yeah, so basically what the application process is would be starting from right now. It would be, so we're gonna, if we have your contact information, we can send you a Drive form. There you can fill out your name, your work experience. Then after that, we would set up our interview with you, getting to know you a little bit more, your work experience. Then after you would be accepted from the interview, you would then, we'd send you the contract and everything, and then we'd start, we would get the first payment, and then we would start sharing your profile to, you know, our hotels and restaurants in France. After that, you would have an interview with the people from the restaurant or establishment in France, and we would accompany you on that interview. So it's quite a process. If you have any other questions about the process, you could, of course, ask.
We also have, Audrey, if you can talk quickly about that, the ambassador program. If some of our community right now wants to be ambassador, there is a, you know, the referee,
yeah.
Yeah, if you can
So
explain. Please.
If you would like to be an ambassador for the program, it's kind of like, if it's like refer a friend, and then you get a discount on your program fee, and they'll get a discount on their program fee as well. So that's definitely an option if you'd like to do that. You know, you may have friends in other culinary schools. You guys are in Chicago, right? Yeah, so I know there's a lot of culinary schools around Chicago, so maybe if you share with your friends or go on your social media and share something, then you can also get a discount from your program, from the amount, from your fee, from the amount of people that also apply to the program.
We also, exactly, thank you so much, Audrey. We also have a WhatsApp number that you can contact directly Audrey via WhatsApp, and we also have an email and a website, internships, Gastronomie France. We will write it in the chat, and like that you can review all the information about the program on this website. So
everyone should have received. If you didn't receive that, please let me know. But when I was confirming attendance today, everyone should have received the website link. So, but if you did not receive that, you guys can let me know as well.
Okay.
Okay, and I have one final question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is transportation provided, like to and from work and like grocery stores, or do we have to provide that on our own?
Johan, would you like to answer about transportation while you're there?
Well, okay, so about the transportation, is it working? I'm a bit lost. I don't know where I put. I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working. So about the transportation, there is once you will need to pay for the transportation about the flight ticket, and once you arrive to the airport, we will have somebody pick you up at the airport or at the bus station, the train station. So we always make sure that there is a good communication and a connection about this.
And then the transportation while you're working, we don't provide transportation while you are working, but there's, you know, in France, there's definitely a lot of public transportation, which is definitely very common. And then also, like what Patrina was saying, she used a bike, you know. So no, unfortunately, we do not provide transportation while you're there, but yeah.
So sometimes there is colleagues, workers, colleagues from the kitchen that have a car and sometimes it's like that. It depends. We will recommend a lot to you guys to communicate, to try to speak French, show that you want to practice French, show the good attitude. That's very important.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how I when I wanted to go further than what the bicycle would take me, there was both front of the house and back of the house at the kitchen. There was other people there with a car, so it was always just, if we're gonna go to the next city or the next town over, I would have transportation. And for the times where I just wanted to go somewhere by myself, I would just take the bus, which is really easy, and it's like €1, just €1 ticket, and it'll get you as far as you can go with the transfer. So there was always the bus, the train, or the tram, and there's always the friends that you'll make there. There was another question, and I hope that answers your question. There was another question I saw that popped up, and it said something about not having or only having culinary school experience, and I'm not sure who asked that, but that's I don't think having a lot of restaurant experience is something that should deter you from this program, just because they know you're coming from culinary school and they know we're students, so they're just already in that teacher training mindset, and they were patient, and they're willing to help you in any way that you need help, especially if you're showing that you want to be there, you're showing that you're trying to learn. They're very helpful. You don't even have to worry about that. And then that's what you're going there to gain, is more experience. So I wouldn't let that be something that not motivate you to go.
Hi, this is Natalie. I have one question. For the food, are you giving out a stipend or a per diem? You said that you provide meals.
So this depends on the establishment. This will be defined during the interview with the establishment, but usually you have, when the hours that you are working, you will have the food, so the meals. So generally you will have 3 meals during the day, but it depends. Also, once you gotta be off, sometimes you have access to the kitchen to have like food. Sometimes you will need to cook on your side. So that's something that we will define with the establishment. It will be like kind of negotiation, and that's it.
Question. Are most of the establishments close to the house accommodation, or are they like a commute away?
But the housing, how fast or how close is it from the establishment? Yeah, this is the question. Usually it's very close. We always ask, and they have they used to work with people from different countries, so they always have very close by from the establishment. They always have the housing. So I wanted to ask how many people is interested in the program or would like to have an interview with us to discuss a bit more about the program. How many people?
Definitely, yes.
Good, good, excellent, perfect, good news.
Terrific.
Excellent.
Well, again, for Audrey and Johan, I will send. And again, unless anyone opts out, please notify me if you would not prefer to have your information shared. But I'll share with you the names and email addresses of the students and alumni that have attended today, and they can continue the conversation with you.
All right.
Is there anything else, any final comments that you guys would like to share? Okay, well, if not, I do want to thank Audrey, Johan, and Petrina. Thank you so much for sharing information, and Petrina especially sharing information about your experience. It sounds like you had an absolutely wonderful time, and thank you so much for sharing that with us today. And again, we will be following up and giving you the names and information of the students. But again, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so much for having us. It was great to be able to talk to you guys, and we hope to speak to some of you soon.